Hey, my reactors, and I'm back, and I'm gonna read 67 through 69. Eleanor. When I was younger, I used to take care of people better than I did myself. Eleanor was sitting in her favorite corner in the house. The drugs rushed through her veins, giving her the sensation of a constant orgasm. She was in dope bitch heaven. The brown turquoise used to enlarge her broken veins remained tightly on her arm as the needle dangled from her skin. She was just about to nod off and deal with the world later when there was a knock on her door. Wiping the spit stains from the sides of her mouth, she removed the syringe, popped up and answered it. When she saw Slade at first, she tried to slam it shut, but Slade was able to block the move by wedging his foot in the door. When she tried to run, he pushed her to the floor. Fur, go lock the door. Fur did as she was told and stood at his side. When he saw the dog tag belonged to his brothers hanging around Eleanor's neck, he prowled towards her. Where's my brother? He asked through clenched teeth. Don't fucking lie to me. I don't know who you're talking about. Eleanor, where the fuck is my brother? He gripped the tag hanging around her neck. If you knew how much he means to me, you wouldn't fuck with my head. Start talking. I knew him as DB. I got it from the tattoo on his arm. It stands for Della Baker, my mother. Wiping the sweat off her head, she said, he left here last night. In the middle of talking, the drug guards called her name, and she nodded off until he said, first, slap her. Without hesitation, she went in and slapped her awake. I'm sorry, I dozed off. I'm growing impatient with you, and I don't want to do that, Slade said. Now, where is he? Okay. He said he was going to see his brothers. He said he remembered who he was and hired to find his family. That's all I know. What do you mean remember who he was? Why would he forget? Eleanor looked at Ferb. He was involved in a car accident, a hit and run. But he said the person who hit him tried to kill him by covering his nose and mouth. Slade, this bitch is a dopehead, Ferb said, trying to shake them off her trail. She could tell Eleanor knew more than when she was letting on. That explains why she looked at her funny the day she was sitting in the car outside of the building. You can't listen to shit she say. She's right. Don't listen to me, she responded. She didn't want to die behind what she said while high. I've been shooting dope in my veins most of my life. I'm halfway out of my mind most times. My brother said you saved his life, so for now I trust you. So please tell me what happened. How did he end up here? She swallowed and said, when he was left for dead on the side of the road, I saw him laying in the street. He was bleeding everywhere and had a few broken bones in his body. I brought him back here and nursed him to health. When I was younger, I used to take care of people better than I did myself. I guess I still do today, she smiled. If you can't believe that, I was a nurse before I married her on. Did he say if he was coming back? No, but I got the impression he wasn't because he gave me this chain and told me thanks for everything. Slade couldn't believe he missed Knox again, and he was starting to feel the worst. Thank you, and I'm sorry if I scared you. Eleanor looked at Fur once more, who was staring her down. I gotta get my family back together. Spotting a late notice on the table, he grabbed a pen and jotted down his number. I want you to have him call me there. She took the letter and placed it on her lap. The high was wearing off, and she needed another hit. I can do a dance for you. You got any money? She asked. I really need some money. Slade handed her $50 and ignored everything else. I don't care what you have to do, Eleanor. If my brother comes back here, you make him call me. If you do, there's a little something more where that came from. Chapter 68, Fur. You know more. You know more better than me. You just got more money to hide your shit. Fur was sitting in Slade's truck, mentally shaking. At some point, she was going to have to pay Eleanor a visit because something told her she knew more than what she was letting on. How could she be so careless? She should have finished Knox off the moment she ran into him with her bins, and none of this would be happening. Her fucked up meant she had a lot of loose ends to clear up.
While driving down the road, Slade said, when Knox was home last night, he asked, okay. When Knox was home last night, he asked Marky about you. He looked over at her. Do you know why? She was trying to think of the best way to weasel out of the situation. How would I know him if you haven't been able to find him? How would I? Slade seemed disappointed. I never asked you this before about what happened at night when you were with that dude in the basement, the one who was about to hit you the day we first met. She looked out the window. Talking about Kurt? I guess, he shrugged. I don't know the nigga name. She avoided his eyes. Why you want to know? Because for one thing, he tried to rape me, she snapped. If that's what you're talking about. I'm not judging you, babes. I just want to know what happened, that's all. He touched her leg. Because even though his body was partially hidden on the side of the washing machine because he was lying on the floor, I noticed that blood-stained boot. And I saw you crouched over him. What were you doing? Fur turned away from him. She was so sure that after all this, he didn't know. Even though at first she swore he saw her. Now she realized she was wrong. I don't know what happened to him, Slade. Maybe we should just leave it at that. Standing outside of Randy's house, she knocked on his door. A minute later, he opened it up, and it was obvious that he wasn't happy to see her. What do you want for her? I'm surprised you're still alive. I must have to give niggas more money. I want to talk to you, Randy. Can I come in? He frowned. I got company. When he opened the door wider, she saw Lisa, Courtney, and Lady sitting on the couch. So now ain't the best time. She could come in, Lisa said. We were just leaving. Plus, I had to meet somebody later tonight. Looking at Fur, she said, I'll be able tomorrow to get the last of my things. Fur watched them laugh all the way to Courtney's car before pulling out of sight. What were they doing here, Randy? He trudged away from the door and sat on the couch. You coming in or out? Fur walked inside and closed the door behind her. The real question is, what the fuck are you doing here? I was on my way out and I don't have time to talk to you about shit. So you fucking one of them now? Again, none of your business. She walked over to him. I wanted to say I'm sorry, Randy. I was mad at you for killing my puppies. So I just started tripping and shit. You gave them to me and I loved them though so much. She remembered how they always seemed to be happy when she came home and was consumed with sadness. So after you dropped them, I've been trying to get back at you ever since. I wanted to hurt your feelings like you did mine. I don't believe shit you say to me anymore, especially after speaking to your friends. They're not my fucking friends. Stop believing everything you hear from them random bitches. It was obvious that she wasn't as frightened as she should have been of him, and this bothered him. And what did they say about me anyway? He laughed. For starters, you don't live with your mother anymore, which I know about already. And secondly, that you're fucking with Slade, a nigga I was about to put on. Thinking about her being with him enraged him even more. Now, why are you here? Because I miss you. He laughed and shook his head. He wanted to believe her so badly, but he hated being played for a fool. You must be here for money, because you and me both know that's the only time you call my name. The worst part about all of this, you put Slade in a deadly situation, and you don't even know it. How you gonna smile in my face and take my bitch? Slade was smiling in your face. His forehead crinkled a bit, and he screamed. You know what the fuck I mean? He paused. But out of everything they told me, there's one thing I really can't believe. Are you really drinking blood? She knew in a few days everybody would take her for a sick, crazy bitch now. All you're going to do is laugh and not believe me if I tell you anyway. Try me. He crossed his legs and clasped his hands together. Tell me you're not the crazy-ass broad they made you out to be. Fur grew angry. What if I do drink blood, she said flatly. What difference does it make to you? He looked up at her. You serious? What if I am? What if I love the feeling of holding someone's life in my hand? Ain't that the same thing you do? I watched you kill that old lady after you stashed some shit in her coat pocket. You know better than me. You just got more money to hide your shit. For the first time, he realized he didn't know her like he thought he did. When his phone rang, he looked at her once more before getting up to answer the call. Hello? He paused. What do you mean they got us? Randy was covered in a bill of fury as he paced the floor. Tell everybody to meet me at my house in 20 minutes. Don't be late, he yelled. And I want to and I want you to find my brother too. My father too. I got 50 grand on anybody who brings him to me because I know he was involved. Randy hung up and looked at her. Before you came over here, I was going to have you killed tonight. Lucky for you, something else came up that requires my full attention. I'll be able to get my ring tomorrow. Did you have Juice killed? She interrupted. What you think? The nigga Dwayne put a call into me and told me you were in a club with Juice. Her jaw dropped. Dwayne, but he was killed too. He was a casualty of war. My only complaint is that he didn't finish the job because you're here. He pointed at her. You got 3 days to disappear. If you don't, I'm going to murder everyone in your family, starting with your father. And when it's all said and done, I'm going to murder you. Fur hop dropped. My father? What the fuck are you talking about? So you don't know. He crossed his arms over his chest. They found Tank a few weeks back in Virginia. He's in prison in the same cell as Usher. Okay. Slade, this your first time, so consider yourself a virgin tonight. Slade was laying face to face with her in a hotel room on the bed after the long day. They needed to be alone. When he looked into her eyes, something whispered, leave her alone. But she was still alluring that he couldn't walk away. You know you remind me of my girlfriend back home. She raised her head off the pillow. You got a girlfriend? No, she died. She placed her head back down. She was a fighter like you. Real bullheaded too. He chuckled. Never listen to shit I said. I'll tell her to go left and she'll go right. But later, when I wasn't looking, I would find out that she always took my advice and followed my lead. And you like that about her. And you like that about her because you got out on me when I talked back to you. You called me gay, he corrected them. That question in my manhood and I don't play that shit, he paused. Anyway, I love that about her. A woman with her own mind is attractive, just like me. She always seemed like something was on her mind and I could never tell where she was coming from. It kept me on my feet and made the relationship interesting. Anyway, we got in a fight after I found out she lied to me. Keeping secrets and speaking your mind are two different things. You understand what I'm saying? She nodded but remained silent. When I found out she wasn't who I thought she was, I entered the situation. He turned on his back and looked up at the ceiling. She put her head on his chest. What happened? I found out she was snorting coke and I couldn't get past it. I was asleep and I woke up to find her in the living room with a mirror on the table, sniffing shit into her nose. He shook his head. I walked over to her and crashed my fist into the wall, inches from her face. First seemed nervous. Don't worry, I will never hit a female because I know I will kill her instantly. He looked into her eyes. You know I didn't even say shit to her with my eyes. She knew how I felt. She was so hurt that she stormed out my house and drove away in the rain. We've been together since we were kids, and I didn't stop her. If I had, she would still be alive today. He exhaled. Anyway, the next morning I found her car had been wrapped around a tree, and her head was severed from her body. That same feeling of loss came over me when I saw Juice's picture on the news, because I knew you was with him. I realized then I can't let you go. He got up to get another beer from the table across the room, and she followed him like a shadow. I should have gotten her help to get her off drugs, but I didn't. He pulled the tab off his beer and took a man-sized slump. It wasn't your fault, Slade. He placed the half-full beer down and pulled her into his body. I know, baby. It took me years to understand that, but I finally get it. It doesn't stop me from feeling fucked up about it. Even to this day, I was supposed to protect her, but I didn't. He looked into her eyes. I told myself if I ever fell in love again, that I would never abandon her when she needed me the most. And on my mother, that's a vow I won't break. He raised her chin, snaked his tongue into her mouth, and kissed her passionately. Let's get ready for bed. I gotta brush my teeth first. Ugh, why you ain't brush your teeth before kissing me? She giggled, hitting his arm. Because I love you, girl. They walked into the bathroom and Slade took the toothbrushes out of the bag they bought from CVS earlier that evening. Fur grabbed the blue one and wet it before putting paste on the tip. That's mine, babe. You got the red one. She cut the water. She cut the cold water on. I know who it belongs to, she smiled. But when you're with me, I don't want you to do anything I can't do for you, and that includes brushing your teeth. Now open up. Slade opened up his mouth and looked down at Fur as she happily scrubbed his teeth. She was doing her best to make it known that she wanted to be his everything. And all, he looked down at her and silently thanked God for bringing her into his life. What you looking at, boy? She looked up at him. He put his hand under the faucet and rinsed his mouth. You're different now. She cleaned his toothbrush and rinsed her own. I'm the bitch who's going to take care of you for the rest of your life. Get used to seeing me. I got to keep shit real with you. I met Willie, Randy's father, the same night I saw he was with my brother. I was looking for Knox, but he wasn't there. I must have missed him because later I found out he went to Marky's. She appeared uneasy and he wondered why. Anyway, Willie ended up being cool and we planned to make moves together. Juice was in that meeting too. So later that night when I saw you in the club, I was wondering what was up. I knew we had plans to rob his stash house because we had inside help with Juice. He paused. Brandy was supposed to be out of town, but he wasn't. It fucked me up to get you involved by keeping him busy. She brushed her teeth and said, it didn't bother me. She rinsed her mouth and stroked his face once. Your brother Major was outside, strapped and ready, and I was sick of Randy anyway. The nigga tried to kill me the night before. But I also knew if he really wanted me gone, I'd be dead already. So I knew our plan would work. I would do anything for you. She rinsed her mouth again to get rid of the paste taste. Did I keep him busy long enough? Yeah, we hit his shop heavy and hard. It just fucked up that Juice is gone. We gave a little something to his people, though. Do you think you can trust Willie? I mean, he is stealing from his own son. Apparently, it was his operation first. He reached into his pocket and handed her some cash. That's for you and your part and everything tonight. The money made her beam. That's just the beginning. Wait, does this mean you're staying in D.C. now? Yes, at least until I find Knox. I'm trying to prevent my mother from coming up here because if she does, it's going to be hell come to life. Fur wasn't concerned with some old woman that's the only reason you stand. No, because I can't leave you. Fur's warm, naked body covered the top of I said his name, Clay. Slade's. Staring into each other's eyes, it was apparent that love had found them, and they didn't want to let go. I'm ready to make love to you. You sure? Because you seemed real hesitant at first. I need this for me. Inspired by her desire, Slade placed his hand on her waist and pushed his thickness into her vagina. It was difficult to enter at first because she was dry and tense. Thinking she warmed up soon, he pumped in and out of her slowly. Fur began to wildly move her head and shoulders, and Slade tried to guide her motions. When she started yelling sounds you hear in a cheap porno, as if she were possessed by the devil, he knew something was off. Baby, Slade said softly, as she continued to twist her neck as if it could pop off. Fur, open your eyes and look at me. She finally heard his voice and looked at him. What's wrong? Tears started to form in the wells of her eyes. You hate me, don't you? His dick was still inside of her, but he was no longer fucking. I'm going to die. This is so embarrassing. Calm down, Fur. Nothing is wrong. He rubbed her hair. Why you upset? His voice was easy, patient, and loving. This is supposed to be right. It's our first time, baby, so I need you to look at me. Cool? Okay, she said, totally mortified. I'm going to look. I just don't want you to dump me. He slapped her ass lightly, and because of his strength, it stunned a little bit more than usual. Smiling, he said, "Stop saying that shit. I'm not going anywhere. You're not fucking me, we're fucking each other. So don't be sad. Just look into my eyes and work that body." Slade placed his hands on her hip and slowly pumped into her. Scared to do the wrong thing, Fur remained as stiff as a board. Fear of not being able to satisfy him forced her to steal. "Fur, do you feel how much I care about you?" He continued to have sex with her. "Can you see having how fucking sexy I think you are? Look at me. Can you see how much my body responds to yours? Can you remember the first day I saw you and how I wanted to kill that motherfucker for scaring you?" That pussy was warming up like the iron recently turned on, and it was starting to feel good. "Yeah, you feel me? I see that pussy heating up." "I feel you, baby." She kissed his lips and felt a trembling sensation throughout her body. If only she could trust her body and move, it would be so much better. "You feel so good. Then move that pussy the way you feel. You make me feel." First started crying. "Don't be sad, Fur. This is the first time you made love. But I had sex. I don't give a fuck about them other niggas. If any of them cared about you, you would know how to fuck." His seriousness caused her to shiver. "Now move your body like you love me." Focusing on the man under her body, she started to slowly wind her hips. "That's it, baby." He bit his lips. "That's my bitch right there." Slade moved in and out of her until he could feel her slickness on his penis. "Damn, baby, you wet as shit. That's how I like it." Normally she would have to add spit or Vaseline while having sex, so she said, "Am I? I never got wet before." "Well, what did I tell you? This your first time, so consider yourself a virgin tonight." Slade kissed her passionately and increased the speed one notch, as if Fur were a pro. She started fucking him back slower at first before going a little faster. It wasn't just about a man this time. The sex was about her too. Their body danced as they explored one another for the first time. "Oh my God," Fur cried. "Baby, I'm about to." She stopped moving. "What's wrong?" He felt himself about to bust inside of her. He wanted them to reach at the same time. "What is this feeling?" She got her rocks off with coconut a few times, but never while having sex. She was starting to believe it wasn't even possible. The feeling was so grand that she wanted to taste him. She imagined a stream of blood laying on his skin, and her tongue slowly licked it off. This caused her to get even more into the motion, and she bucked him with all her might. "You're about to come." "Me too. Keep it right there. Just like that, baby," he ordered, as he released himself into her body. Oh, that was so fucking good. Her cum was being pulled as if he had a force of his own. Her toes spreaded and she bit into his shoulder, hard at first before she went light. Slade didn't seem to be fazed one bit by the pain. Resting her head on her shoulder, Fur's body let go as she clawed at his arm. "I love you so much, Slade Baker." Tears rolled out of her eyes and ran down his arm. "Then why you crying?" "Because I hope when you find out about me that you'll love me the same." "Baby, there ain't shit nobody can tell me about you that I won't crack them in their fucking mouthful. Now go get some sleep. We got a lot going on tomorrow." The next morning when Slade woke up, his phone was ringing. When he went to answer it, he realized the top of his finger was cut. He was so drunk the night before that he didn't remember how it happened. Reaching for the phone, he was rattled by the sound of his brother's voice. "What's up, Major?" "Oh, you ain't come home last night, man," he yelled. "Some niggas called and said they got him and we got to come up with some bread or else he's dead." Okay, y'all, I'll be back with chapter 70 and basically the end of the book. Primary actors.